Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Baessa, and this is a case study of Paul Levy, taking charge of the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center by Harvard Business Publishing. This is for Policy 510 at the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth. This analysis will provide a brief history of both the Beth Israel Hospital, the New England Deaconess Hospital, the history of Care Group, the merging of the BIDMC, a brief background of Paul Levy, and the various leadership lessons learned from this case study. Prior to the BIDMC merger, there were actually two separate hospitals, the Beth Israel Hospital and the New England Deaconess Hospital. The Beth Israel Hospital was established in 1916 as a Jewish hospital, as Jewish doctors could not practice anywhere else in Boston. This was a dark time in our Boston history. Jewish communities built and financed the BI over several decades, devoting millions of dollars of philanthropy to create a high-class academic medical center. Not only were they known for being an advanced teaching hospital, they were also known for their quality of care. The New England Deaconess Hospital was founded in 1896 as a Methodist hospital. Although a teaching hospital as well, it focused more on surgical specialties and high quality of care. It was also a nonprofit organization like Beth Israel Hospital. Prior to the merger, there was talk in the early 1990s with John MacArthur and others, in which John MacArthur was the dean of the Harvard Business School. He believed that by building a larger hospital system and gaining market share for the system as a whole, one will be able to capture a bigger portion of the market and therefore have greater influence with the insurance companies and the other payers, especially when it came to negotiating insurance contracts. Especially during that time, it was very important to start coming up with collaborations. Thus, the partner group was established. People in the BI, such as Mitch Rabkin, felt threatened about this new partners group and wanted in on it. So, in 1996, the Care Group was formed, which brought in the Beth Israel Hospital, the Deaconess Hospital, Mount Auburn Hospital, and the New England Baptist Hospital. Rabkin stated that the BI needed to merge with other hospitals to be a counterblading force in the market against partners. And Care Group is basically like what we have around here in southern Massachusetts, such as the Steward Medical Group and South Coast Group. It's a collection of different hospitals. Finally, after the Care Group establishment, they decided to merge the Beth Israel and the Deaconess Hospital. With anything that gets merged, there were quite a few problems. One of the main problems merging the BI and the Deaconess was the clashing of two different cultures. The BI being more of a caring, warm environment in a highly academic facility versus a more business-like and less academic facility from the Deaconess. It was portrayed as a merger of equals when it never was. Merging the departments created hostility and mistrust. Professionals left the hospital for their own reasons. The quality of care was even decreasing. The hospital started losing more and more money as a result. Annual losses started going down to the double digits. They did not focus on cost cutting. Instead, they focused more on clinical integration, which met a lot of resistance from the doctors. And then the business side went down as they were not focusing on that, but other than just clinical integration. Due to the BID being a member of the Care Group, the debt from the BID became the responsibility of all hospitals involved with Care Group. So even, for instance, say Mount Auburn Hospital was doing a great job for the fiscal year, it would still be dragged down by the debt of the BID. No one could grow. There were also many organizational issues. There was an overall problem to execute and a curious inability to make decisions. Every 6 to 8 months, there was always a new turnaround plan stirring around in the board. There was even confusion about who actually was in control of the BID. Was it the Care Group board or the BID board? At the time of the merger, Jim Reinerston was both the CEO of Care Group and the CEO of the BID. This ensued a major conflict of interest and also confusion of power. Reinerston brought in Mike Rosenblatt as the president. The CFO and the CEO of the hospital at the time, for some reason, did not report to the president, but reported straight to Reinerston. So now you had officials going behind each other's backs and implementing and undoing policies with no actual chain of command. No one knew who to report to. It was a very dysfunctional organization. Something needed to be done, and in the summer of 2001, Reinerson stepped down as CEO, and the search was on for a new CEO of the BIDMC. So in steps Paul Levy. Previously, Levy was the executive dean for administration at Harvard Medical School, where he was responsible for community and government relations. This was where Levy first saw the problems with the BIDMC at the meetings. He was a liaison between the dean, the medical school, and the affiliated hospitals. Levy was able to attend a 3-day retreat with the CEO of Care Group, Jim Reinerson. And, like he said, there would be a different turnaround plan every 6 to 8 months for the BIDMC, but nothing was ever done about it. He even stated during his time as executive dean that he could run the BIDMC better than them. Levy's resume also consisted of being an independent consultant for government agencies that had to do with water, waste management, and telecommunications, as well as the executive director for the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority. He was also well known in providing a lot of input for a lot of government and public agencies in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Levy's management and leadership skills led BIDMC to flourish in the preceding 6 months, and he's also known to accomplish huge tasks in a short amount of time. During this case study, there are many lessons to be learned from Levy. First off, Levy is very proactive. Even before Levy took the job of CEO, he stated to the search committee that he needed 3 things from them. 1, the board needs to get out of the day-to-day operations of the hospital. 2, the board is too big. Shrink it down to 15 to 18 members. And 3, he needs to be in by the first week of January. This created a sense of urgency, especially because during this transition of CEOs, Care Group Board had been seriously considering selling the BIDMC under pressure from the Attorney General. The Attorney General is in charge of charitable organizations like the BIDMC in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The Attorney General stated that the board failed to preserve its charitable assets for the BIDMC. The Care Group believed that the only way of saving the BIDMC was to listen to the Attorney General and sell the BIDMC to a for-profit. Levy thought otherwise and wanted to save it. Levy stated he wanted to be in as CEO before the Hunter report came out, so we could start creating a plan to save the BIDMC. Levy is also very transparent with his employees. Since Levy's first day on the job, he always let his employees know what was going on. On his first day, he let everyone know the problems with the BIDMC and the upcoming layoffs. He also provided copies of reports such as the Hunter report, the recovery plan, and the research plan. He gave employees the opportunity to give suggestions and recommendations to these plans and offer their thought on it by either emailing him directly or attending many of the town hall meetings Levy implemented. Levy stated in his recovery plan to Care Group, quote, "We have created a culture that will succeed because the needs of the organization are clearly considered along with the needs and desires of individuals," unquote. From previous course materials, Levy is a great example of how the basis of power plays a role in organizations. From being transparent with his employees, Levy, quote, "holds legitimate power since others accept his authority to tell him what to do," unquote. Having employees respect him enhances the legitimacy and prestige of his position. Levy is also an impeccable decision maker. He involves employees in the decision-making process. For instance, Levy let all employees sign and endorse Levy's recovery plan and were offered to make suggestions on it before it was to be presented to the board. Levy was also able to adapt to change in his decision-making. For example, the Hunter report offered more than Levy's plan. Levy prioritized the items that needed to be addressed to things that could wait. He also does not make rash decisions. Although there was always tension between Levy and the CEO, he did not fire her in the beginning. She had too much control and controlled most of the information. Levy knew that this could jeopardize him and his future career. Levy believed adequately assessing her progress in the upcoming months will be the best decision as everything could be documented. Levy's decision-making is also reputable. Levy maintained the reputation of the BIDMC as an academic facility, as well as a hospital known for the high quality of care. His plans did not get in the way of this, and he helps legitimize the organization towards the public. He also holds himself and his colleagues accountable for their actions. In Paul Levy's introduction email, he states the plan and ideas for the upcoming year and stated he would be held accountable for these milestones. When Levy created the steering committees to focus on specific areas of the hospital, he made sure to let Care Group know of all the committees, who was a member of them, the purpose of the committee, and who they reported to. In all of Levy's committees, meetings, and collaborations, it was always simple to point out who reported to whom and the direct missions of the meetings. For example, in Levy's implementation email to Care Group, Levy congratulated Mike Covington as the new Chief of Business Ventures. In the email, he stated that Mike will report to James Farentino, Chief Academic Officer, for all research-related functions, and to himself for all other non-research-related functions. He was able to set clear, articulate plans that was specified to determine who was report to whom, and basically what the exact chain of command is within each group. Levy held the chiefs more accountable as well. Previously, the CFO was in charge of describing variance reports to the board of directors. Levy stated that it is not their responsibility. It is, and should always have been, the chiefs. They are to create variance reports every month, and if the CFO sees variance within each department, the chief of that department must explain it by writing so it can be sent to the board of directors. The chiefs had to be held accountable to their departments, which Levy helped them graciously. Collaboration was also a key factor in Levy's leadership skills. The purpose of Care Group was to establish the hospitals involved, help each other in strengthening relationships. This did not happen. Levy stated that Care Group was so insensitive to the needs of the individual hospitals that it was causing the hospitals to band together against the mothership. Levy stated that every hospital and Care Group did their own thing. This created petty jealousness, poor communication, rivalries, and a loss of possible synergies among the hospitals. Instead, Paul Levy decided to reach out to the hospitals and made direct connections with them. The other 4 hospitals were very responsive and joined together. This outreach and collaboration can be best defined as collaborative networks. Collaborative networks are, quote, collections of different agencies, nonprofits, and for-profits that work in concert to provide public services, goods, or values when a single agency is unable to create the good on its own. In this case, these hospitals are helping each other by coming together against Care Group's idea of selling the BIDMC. So overall, Levy is proactive, he is transparent to his coworkers and colleagues, he is a clear decision maker, demonstrates a clear structure of power within the organization, and he holds himself and others accountable for their actions. This concludes the presentation of Paul Levy's, and I hope you all have a great end of the semester.